The federal government says it has taken decisive actions to address critical challenges confronting Nigeria's power sector with the gradual migration from the electricity subsidy regime. The government further disclosed that a total amount of about 1.4 trillion naira subsidy burden has been taken off government from the 15% increase in tariff of Band A customers, which may be redirected to develop other sectors of the economy. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu made these clarifications at a ministerial briefing in Abuja to spotlight the activities of government. TVC News' Tijesu Adeoye reports.
The Tinubu-led administration has expressed its determination to bridge the information gap between government and citizens.
For a solution.
This press conference, organized by the Ministry of Information and National Orientation, spotlights Nigeria's power sector, its challenges and activities of government so far to strengthen the sector and create a more investor-friendly environment. The recent decision by the government to hold subsidy payment to 15% of its 12 million customers, categorized as the Band A consumers, has sparked various reactions among electricity consumers. But the minister says it is a tough and necessary decision that had to be taken by the government, which is gradually paying off.
It requires money for us to enhance these segments. It requires money to replace deteriorating equipment. So decentralization is a major issue and we are achieving it. The consumer protection issue, we have said it that service level agreement is a covenant. If you say we are giving you 20 hours for paying 225 naira per kilowatt hour, that 20 hours must not be less than 20 hours.
That about 50% of the generation cost will now be subsidized by the government. Okay. So what that tells you, 90 minus 50, tells you that there is a reduction of about 40%.
The federal government admits that Nigerians are faced with tough times caused by recent government policies, but appeals for more understanding and trust in government, but also gave strong assurances that the situation will improve.
Nigeria can no longer afford to pay about 2.9 trillion naira annually to subsidize power. This, of course, will bring down the cost of subsidy to about 40%. I'm sure about 1.1 trillion or thereabout will be saved annually. This money will be put into other sectors of our economy. Our hospitals are there, the education sector is there, the schools are there.
The Power Minister assures that his ministry is committed to protecting Nigerians from exploitation while maintaining its core mandate to enhance development in the sector for sustainability in order to supply cost-effective electricity to its customers.
And I have joining us a former member of the House of Representatives, Bamidele Fakparusi. What is your take on the changes that are taking place in the power sector and, of course, the hike in electricity tariff for Band A customers? All right, it appears he isn't there.
Thank you very much for having me. Increase is part of the federal government agenda to rejig the economy of the country. We know power sector is a critical sector in development of the economy, and we realize that government has been subsidizing electricity for a long time. And with the agenda of Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration to take out subsidies that are not beneficial to the common man. And it started by the removal of subsidy on petroleum, then removal of subsidy on forex, and now the next line of action is to remove subsidy on electricity. And I think this policy is trying to, is an improvement from previous subsidy removal policy by starting from the airlines. 50% of the electricity connection will be affected according to what the Minister of Power is saying, who who take bulk of the electricity of the country, if 50% take the probably 80% of the electricity generated from this country, this 50% in question, they consume up to 80% of what electricity that is generated. So it's better for these people to pay the fair price.
All right, but as it stands now, one major issue that Nigerians are facing with regards to power is the issue of metering. We still have a metering gap of about 8 million. How do we bridge this gap?
My only concern.
Yes, I am asking about, how you think we can bridge the metering gap in Nigeria. There is a gap of about 8 million, and, its availability, when people have power, that is when they are willing to pay, for what they can actually see and consume.
Yes, the part of the problem is lack of liquidity in the sector, because government is subsidizing generation, government is subsidizing a lot of the value chain in the electricity sector, and government is trying to ensure that it reduces the subsidy committed to electricity, and by so it frees some free resources to be able to improve on the network and also to improve on the metering system for the common people. But concerning this policy, I think what government needs to put in place is check and balances, because we cannot trust the discourse to do the right thing. The discourse may take advantage of this policy to begin to build poor people that are not supposed to be in the bracket of this policy. So the government must set up monitoring mechanism to ensure that the discourse are not taking advantage of this policy to begin to bill poor people exorbitant rates hiding under this policy. Because when you say this policy is based on provision of 20 hours of electricity per day, those consumers that have 20 hours per day of electricity, and if you don't have up to 20 hours of electricity, you are not supposed to pay this to be part of this hike. So government must put in mechanism to ensure that poor people are not caught in this way. My concern is to protect the interests of the downtrodden who are struggling in their daily life. But people who are using cheap electricity to increase their bottom line, they need to pay the fair share of electricity.
And the NERC is already wielding the hammer, because the AEDC, that's the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, has now been fined 200 million naira for infractions with regard to the new policy. Thank you very much, Bamidele Fakwarusi, former member, House of Representatives.